Yeah, let's get cozied up.
You seem
let's get cozied up, man. It's a big couch. So we are wearing different clothes.
We are this time.
As opposed to just like the same outfit. Even you said like maybe I should have changed my shirt.
Yeah.
Funny guy.
Guy.
Welcome to another episode of Life Chats. As always, my name is Kevin, joined by Michael. How's it going, Mikey?
What up?
What up?
Just came back from Dunder Mifflin, working a hard shift.
Yeah, a lot of people think that you're moving to Scranton, so it's, I guess people are really that gullible. Shout out to your mom.
Oh, no, it wasn't just my mom, to be fair. Ruby kind of...
Yeah, throw her under the bus, too.
They weren't the only ones.
Well, they're the ones he talked about, so that's fine. So you know what, Mikey? I was thinking about this the other day. As I was driving to Toronto. There are like a lot of cars on the road now, and I don't know if you've noticed that just like driving around.
Damn,
but like there's.
I'm telling you.
well, our video is getting shut down. You people.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's man, thin walls here, man. Yeah.
Oh,
So I noticed that there's this more congestion that I'm used to.
Okay.
And it's like, there's always been that thing like, oh, if you're going towards Toronto, you're like, if you're on that way, it's always going to be busy. And then like heading towards Hamilton is always less busy. Now it's busy both directions.
Right. Okay.
Regardless of the time of day. It's not like, oh, you're going against traffic or whatever. It's like, you're always in traffic.
Yep.
And then so, thinking about this, I know people. I
need to get you a t-shirt that says that.
I have friends.
Well, I know
questionable.
I have friends, question mark.
So, and I know, like, and you have people in your life who mention the thought of having kids soon. And just adding to this pool of just people. And, it's interesting. I was on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and there was this article from Narcity Canada, which is like a kind of like a meme account, but also has scholarly work, if scholarly in very loose quotations. And they were saying how of this small pool of millennials that were polled, that 42% of these participants would rather a dog in their life in lieu of a child, which I found interesting because, I feel there's this paradigm shift, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you feel there's this paradigm shift away from people wanting to have kids? Or do you feel that I know like you were saying before, well, Kevin, how are we going to repopulate the earth? Is humanity just going to fall by the wayside because people can't afford condos in Toronto? No, people will always survive. But is it just, are we, like, the viability of having kids in today's economic world, does it make sense?
Well, it's funny, we were talking about condos, and I saw something today that from 2009, the average condo per month has gone up by like 137%. So,
and how long?
Since 2009, so that's 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
So that's crazy. So first of all, when you're talking about the congestion, I don't think it's people having kids and families. I think that's more of an influx on immigration. I think that's what that is. Doesn't help. But well, it's true though.
No, but like
it's true though.
But my point.
What about the kids? I'll talk about the kids. We in the GTA are just to live as a single person is much more expensive now than it was 10, 15 even years ago. In terms of having children, and we talked about this before in previous episodes, the cost of having a child has shot up. Kids programs have shot up. Daycare, babysitting, that has all gone through the roof. So you want to be stable before you move out into the world. But now, if you want a kid, you have to wait a little bit further down the line. Unless you got a really well-paying job or you inherited a lot of money, it's kind of hard for people like you and I to go and start a family right now. It's just ridiculous. Also, kids are a lot of work.
They are.
Okay? Let me tell you something, man. Like, if a lot of people say I'm good with babies, and I'd like to have to agree, I'm pretty good with babies. But after an hour, I give it back to the parents and I leave. I get to go
Never
home.
to be heard from again. Yeah.
So this, you have to think, this is a 24/7 job. Well, not all parents, but the good
The
ones.
good ones.
Whatever, I don't care. But the good ones, it's a 24/7 job here, and people nowadays, it's a much more fast-paced world. It's a world now where we're grinding more than I feel like we've had before. Bringing a child into this world with so much going on, people want to wait a bit. People want to take a breather, okay? Because people our age now, there's some people that probably can do it, but more often than not, we're in our 20s anyway, we're still trying to situate ourselves. Now, there are accidents, miracles.
Yikes.
So now you have that situation too, and I've seen that, people having, these accidental pregnancies, and they have to start growing up a lot.
Yeah.
Now, there are people that there's, it happens, right? Accidental pregnancies as teenagers and stuff, and if they have a good foundation, that's great, but the whole, talking about a dog isn't as much work as a child. You're going to be up with the baby, it's going to cry all the time.
Absolutely.
Your life will never be the same, and your life will be, your child dictates your life, and will for the next many, many years.
So
your children's friends will be your new social group. Think about it.
Now let me ask you this, man, because I feel like the moral of the story is wear protection, folks. But I feel the crux now is rather, do you think that society is preventing the continuation of itself? Are humans making obstacles subconsciously to curb exponential population growth in order to rein in and save the planet? Let me present it to you this way. Our parents got married on average about 5 years younger than we're projecting to be married.
Right.
Our grandparents were married a couple of years younger than our parents. Granted, life expectancy has increased since then, but my point is, people are getting married later, they're having children later. Risks of having children later on are mental and physical disabilities. You're going to be 70 years old and your child's going to be just in their late 20s. In terms of people starting out later, are we pushing this further and further away? That in the next couple of generations, we've created our own humanity, just exponential population growth and reining it back in, as opposed to nature doing it for us.
There's two things I want to say about that. Well, one is the cost. We've talked about that. But I think now people, we learned from generations before. So I think we're seeing a lot of boomers and we said this in previous episodes, I don't even remember which one we have over 35.
Oh my God, how can we keep track?
So I think we said it somewhere down the line, the divorce rates for boomers has gone a lot, up. And I think what we're learning as people in our 20s, that in our 20s, but people in our 20s generally now have learned from generations before, look after yourself, have a lot of fun, don't settle down right away. Right? Settling down with the first person you've gone out with
is seen as a bad thing.
Not as a bad thing, but it's seen as something that's naive. It just doesn't happen that often. No. I mean, think about the first person you were serious with. I think about the first person I was serious with. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Anyway, so people are learning from that. So, you're trying to establish yourself as a person. you're not experimenting, but you're having fun. You're testing the waters. Your 20s now is not really meant for settling down anymore. People back in our parents' age, and even people now, but it's rare. It's rare. Mm-hmm. It does happen where like 24, they're already married, got the house with the kids. It's different now. It's a different world that we're living in. In terms of society, well, we put those barriers on us.
That's what I'm saying.
So
yeah.
Yes, I think we've done that unknowingly. I think it's a
byproduct of
yes.
what we've been trying to do. But the effects are people are having less kids.
Right.
They're having them later on in life.
Right.
And you're going to see this, if this continues
mm-hmm.
to be pushed by the next few generations, what does that mean in terms of population growth? What does that mean in developed countries anyway?
The thing is, and it also depends on the religious background, right? Now, I mean, it's a little different. Hold on. No. Would you just sit there? Just sit there. There are some religions that promote cultivating and having a lot of children, okay? And there are some that, well, religion is not much of a factor for a lot of people anymore. So it's a mix and match. It depends.
You're tiptoeing around this very well. But you can see right through it. But that's fine.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's
an observation.
We're having there are a few people. There are a few like. Whatever. We just all sit here now. I was on a whole reel now. I'm like,
continue your thing. Religion for some people doesn't matter as much, and then other cultures or religions promote a lot of children.
Yes, being fruitful and cultivating.
Okay.
So with Canada, it's a little bit different because now we've been. It's true. We have immigrants. We have more immigrants than we've had before. Okay, so. For Canada itself, it's a little different.
Right.
Okay? Now, you want to look at China that had to put a cap on how many kids you can have.
Yeah.
Right? That's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not promoting that, but I'm just saying there's a circle of life, and it's always gonna be, I think it's always gonna hover around the same, but more often than not, people just generally can't handle more than maybe like 2 or 3 kids, right? The big family, the 14 children mm-hmm. family, that's no longer really much of a thing, right?
So you're saying that, so it's not so much society that is creating these barriers to having children later or inadvertently causing less children to be born, but rather it's one's religious background or cultural background that dictates, okay, so this is normal to have like a small family, or it's normal to have a large family. So it's not so much society and our barriers we're building up in terms of high cost of living and starting out life later that are resulting in less children being born or more young people preferring dogs or other means of enjoyment rather than like babies. It's now religion that's dictating, okay, so because I'm subscribing to this religion, I'm not going to have as many kids. Or because I'm from this background, I feel it's normal.
No, it's the second one. Because there's some religions that they will say be fruitful, cultivate. That's what I'm talking about. And that's its own separate thing. I do think it's a little bit of both.
Stay tuned for next week's episode where we dissect that.
No. I think it's a little bit of both, though. Right? And I think people, look... Well, kids, babies are cute, but then they grow up a little bit older, and there's challenges that are with that. And you know what? People this day and age don't want to handle that because they know that it's not easy. So they
want to play with the baby for an hour and then give it back.
Yeah,
that's it.
And a dog is less expensive. Okay,
easier to deal with. You're not having to wake up at 4. I mean, when they're puppies, sure, yeah, but it's a different kind of responsibility.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people think that they have a dog now that their parents. You're not. There's this one person we've kind of briefly might have mentioned in a show with Christina. Shout out to that about a particular person, and now this person's like, oh, I'm a parent now, and I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
No. It's having it I have 2 dogs. It's a challenge, but nowhere close to a human baby. Let's be clear.
No, and you know what? I think
it's a lot of work.
It is, and I think that you definitely touched on a good point. That it's also just, it's the responsibility that a lot of people our age don't want to have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
That they have a lot of they're dealing with their own stuff at work, and they're dealing with their own drama and stuff at home, that they see a child as being a burden, or like. But again, it depends on one's
And I think
cultural background.
And I think we've learned from generations previous, that maybe our 20s should be a time to to get to know ourselves better before we go out in the world and produce more humans. Now, I'm not just saying that that's everywhere. Like, there's some places even in North America where it's even happening here, but like people are having kids early in life.
Yeah.
Right? It unplanned pregnancies, all that stuff. I mean, it's all a construct, but the majority is it's much more expensive, and I think people just don't want to deal with the burden of having so many children now, with the price of cost of living going up, children's programs going up, everything going up.
There's all these things affecting, like you said, unintentionally byproducts of our way of life that are causing this to be
cost of living. Like, people expecting cost of living raises aren't as, like, the average salary hasn't gone nearly as high as the housing market around here.
Yeah.
Right? So you're gonna pop out 4 kids and try to balance all that?
No, it's impossible.
No.
It's impossible.
No.
But I think it's no secret that you and I are not having kids for a long time. Well, we will see. But you know what?
Yeah, definitely not in the plans. Okay. And
yeah, we gotta find you someone first.
Nope.
So honestly, guys, let us know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you think that children in the 21st century are seen as viable, or is it impossible to bring in a kid in today's day and age? But let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I feel like you want to say something.
I just think maybe next time we do this, maybe something Christmassy, because I don't know. I see that tree over there. It's a good. I don't know. I got good feelings, man. I don't want to talk about that other thing. So.
That's good. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode, I guess. Deuces.